Brandbeats,
Wait.
episode Infinity and
Hold on.
episode Infinity 2000. Today we're going to be talking about.
Wait.
You were so trash. Hold on.
Trinidad James.
All right, so he's another one. Surprising.
Now we're live.
Trinidad James is like doing stuff, which I thought he was.
Damn, I haven't looked him up in a while.
Look him up. He's fire.
Excuse me.
Hey everybody.
Can we do our intro?
Yeah. Hey everybody, welcome back to Brandbeats. Your weekly dose or monthly dose of culture from an agency that brings you culture every day, all day.
Wow. My name's Andrew. I stole you.
Jojo.
Finish your thought.
Finish your thought. My thought?
Yeah, your thought.
Oh,
You're
no,
in the middle of something.
There was no additional thought there. It's just I don't think I've been on for like the past one or whatever, but I'm happy to be back.
Because you've been mad sketchy, that's why.
Anyway, my name's Erwin, creative director at Basic. Going back into our traditional flow. Did everybody else already intro themselves?
We already did it.
Yeah, we did that.
Oh, really?
Right, you're slow.
Yeah, you
Right.
missed it.
So on this episode, I think we've been diving really deep into like the current cultural landscape and the tensions that exist within business, that exist within politics, and really how we're feeling. This episode is definitely going to have some of that, obviously, because that's still happening. But today we really want to begin to really almost look back at this year as we move into Thanksgiving and just talk about what each one of us are grateful for, whether it's the struggles and then what those struggles have been presented for us as we move forward. I don't know if that made sense, but let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Damn. That's a
I
heady
just wanted
question.
whatever you had. Like, why are you so amped? Can you send me a bottle of that?
No.
Silver Oak wine.
I'm amped because it's like dark outside. I get to wear a hoodie. Like it's chilly in San Diego.
Almost
Ew.
chilly.
Yeah, I'm
It's like
amped.
60 degrees.
I trimmed up my beard. Like I feel like a new person. And when you grow your beard and then you cut it, you feel like a new person when you cut it. It's like when a woman gets their hair done. And I don't have hair, so I never felt this. I never felt that big transition of like,
Whoa.
I'm a new person right now.
That's right.
Yeah,
When you
like,
shave, you feel like you're like, damn, I'm like 19 again. Like I feel so young.
yeah, because like when you, I feel like for Eric, when you get your hair done, when you get like a new hairdo or get a new haircut, like you feel like you feel fresh.
Yeah. That's when I feel the best. I'm actually getting a haircut tomorrow.
Yeah. So I lined it up and like whatever the lighting is right now, my skin looks like clean.
Oh, dude, you're glowing right now.
Like I saw myself and I got excited. Not like that.
What is going on? Oh my God.
Jeez.
I think you're too grateful. You need to tone down your gratitude just a little bit, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, prior to us going live, we were actually having discussions around, for me, something I've like been grateful for over the course of this year is just seeing the rise of actual cultural storytellers and authentic stories being told by the people who are living those stories, and brands being called out for trying to capitalize on those stories, right? And we were referencing a few people, one being like the person everybody knows, which is Virgil, but then there's also people like Theaster Gates, who's an artist out of Chicago that's doing amazing things in that city, from building, from actually looking at the community and saying, what does the community actually need in the south side of Chicago, and reinvesting into that space by creating physical space. And he even created this place called The Bank, and he bought an old bank. Instead of them tearing it down, he got like the whole deal where you can get like a space for $1. Of course, it doesn't cost $1 at the end because you actually have to renovate the space or whatever. But that space now serves as a place to preserve Black history and specifically like Black history from Chicago or within Chicago. So it has like archives of Vogue and all of this other stuff that like just provides a rich like place of research for that community. And then you also have people like Tremaine Emory that has this like beautiful perspective on communal empowerment. And he's tasking brands to look beyond just empowering the top percentile of Black people or POC people. And oftentimes, and so I'm reading Stokely Speaks, which is an amazing book, and I would recommend everybody read it. You don't have to be Black to read it. I'd recommend everybody reads it because it's, and I'm not fully finished, but I'm at this portion where it's talking about the poison of integration. And so we basically have a society that promotes integration. And to promote integration in a one direction, so you're promoting integration from POC into the Eurocentric sort of the Eurocentric way of living.
Assimilation.
It's like assimilation. And so that just basically means, while it sounds okay on the surface, what it really does is actually make you hate your own culture, because you're saying you have to make your own culture in order to be successful or be perceived as successful in the eyes of everybody else. So it literally makes you put yourself and benchmark yourself and your own success, not based on what your culture would naturally think is successful, but based on what another group thinks is successful, right? And so if you look at our society, that's historically what we do when we say like, hey, we'll uplift the best of our, like, the Black community. I'm only using the Black community because that's what I can speak about. And so like the best basketball player will be able to make it out the hood. The best hip hop artist will be able to make it out the hood. The best will be able to make it out. But then those organizations never look to ways to actually provide communal and community impact for people who don't necessarily have those talents or have those skill sets, right? So it's this idea that if you can entertain us and if you can make us money, then we'll invest in you. And so I think there is something really dope about what, and this is going back to what Tremaine Emory is trying to do, which is how do you task these organizations and these companies to actually look at the larger community? Because just by helping one person and by making these single people who are hyper talented part of the system, it doesn't actually solve systemic racism, and it doesn't solve the larger systemic issues of poverty, of the wealth gap, or any of those things, right? Yeah. I don't know how that's what I'm thankful for, but just the jumping off point.
I think what you're saying is great, because I think for the longest time, we've just been waiting for our opportunities to like get shit, and now we're actually creating those opportunities for ourselves. And I think that's what's important, because we have a lot of rebuilding to do in our community. I think everyone is like super deterred or just feel like, there can only be one. And now we are creating the wealth for each other to be put on, to be seen. And I like have this back and forth like feeling with social media. Sometimes I hate it, sometimes I love it, because of social media. We are being recognized for what we do. They're like, people are actually doing the research to find out who's the originator of what. When before, whoever was like the most popular or whoever was famous at the time could just take credit for it. So I like what you're saying. Like, I like that, 2020 is like silent, like the reveal for people of color to kind of shine. So I'm grateful for that too.
Yeah, it's interesting to me, like thinking about what you're grateful for and everything you're kind of speaking to, Erwin, and everything you just mentioned, Jojo. It's like, for me, I think the biggest thing this year I've been thinking about is like the massive dump of perspective that's been put in my lap about like everything. And I don't just mean like me alone, right? Like I've had like perspective dumped on me and been very introspective on a personal level, on a political level, on a societal level. But I've also been like, I feel like everybody in our society has had, not even our society, our fucking world, right, at this point, like, has had this massive sort of like, oh, check yourself a moment, because what you maybe thought was one way is maybe a little bit other. And I think there's so many different levels of it. And there's a lot of people out there who don't want to recognize it or want to ignore the truths that are so ugly that we're seeing out there in the world every day. But whether or not you want to, I think the good thing is like the world's kind of gone through a lot of pain.
Mhm.
And I know that pain is not a good, is inherently, it's a thing like we all detest, but I've been doing a lot of thinking about like pain is like really good for us on a personal level if we embrace it and try and learn from it. Because like even the ugliness that I see in the world, I'm like, there's something for me to take from that. And there's something for me to walk around with a little bit more of like a maturity or perspective, like in every step I take, and the way I think about problems, the way I think about people, and the way I can be compassionate, or the way I can like detest certain things about us and our human nature. And so I'm just grateful for this year. Is like I'm a little bit grateful for a little bit of the pain that it's put us through, because I do think it's opened my eyes to a lot of things that are ugly about the world, a lot of things that are great about the world. And I'm looking forward to it being over, but I'm grateful that I had a little bit.
I was gonna say 100%. Like even if you think about, I was just watching this TED talk about legacy, and even if you think about legacy is only like you're born, you die, and then everything in between is the story that you make, and then after you die, your legacy is told. But when you think about death, this oftentimes framed in a very negative light. And so I'm using death as like as a parallel to all of the pain that we're going through currently. But if you actually consider death, and as you get closer to death, you actually get more intentional about the things you're doing, because you realize what story you want to be told after you're dead. And I feel like it's similar to recognizing the actual pain and the ills of society, help you approach everything with a little bit more intention and consideration, because you start to realize, what is my role? And you realize that you actually have a role. Like you realize you're not disconnected from this thing that's happening over there. Like we're all connected in some way, shape, or form to every single ill of society that's happening within society. Even if we consider what's happening in the Philippines with the typhoons, that happens because of climate change. And they had like the 2 largest typhoons. And so if that's happening because of climate change, that's also happening because of some of the actions and interactions that we have on a day-to-day basis. And granted, we're not going to completely solve them, but just knowing that and moving through the world with a little bit more intention, that we are a world connected by these threads that as soon as we pluck it or remove it, it impacts somebody on the other side of the planet. Right? Like even us sharing the stuff that was happening in Africa and Nigeria, it's like we had impact on helping bring awareness to those just by a simple reshare. And while some people like downplay, oh, you just reshared, you didn't actually do anything, it's like the reality is like that's the power of those platforms, is it provides a tool for amplification. And I'm like on both sides, where it's like I hate social media and I hate the algorithms that push you into these silos, but at the same time they provide this amazing platform to share just how connected we are, especially in these moments of tension. So it's like, I agree with you. It's like, that's definitely something I'm thankful for, is having to sit and deal with my pain, because it like makes you a better person at the end of the day.
And to me, like what I've been thinking about, and even like what I'm thankful for, because I'm a copywriter, I love list of threes, and I also love alliterations. So I feel like this year has kind of gone in different stages. So like from realization to resistance to resilience, that's how I feel like this year has gone for everyone. Realization in the sense that like, I mean, like we've all said, we're all kind of waking up, this like collective conscious of the world is like, yo, shit is actually really fucked up. But then through it all, I mean, I've never seen so much action from like, not just our country, but like everyone around the world is like taking a stand, whether it's BLM or like just other huge fucking movements. Like we're finally standing up for what's right. So to me, that's been cool. Even in the face of this like global disaster. And then resilience, knowing that we're all still here, like that to me is probably what I'm most grateful for, is that we can still talk about these things and come together as like you know, as humans, which is very lofty and poignant. But yeah, I think I've been thankful for the simple things recently. But yeah,
isn't that wild though? Like on something you just said, like in a year where we go through like a global pandemic, right? And where most of us would think like that would have been the only thing we could do. I think one of the crazy inspiring things is like how many difficult conversations came up and were had despite that. That like we as a people like still are pushing forward and carrying on despite the conditions or the circumstances that we're in, which I think is a pretty amazing thing. Like, you know, we could have let I often get like you, Jojo, like I get a little, I'm like so hot and cold with social media. Like lately I just been like, I turn that shit off. Like I even set like a limit on it because I'm like, I don't need it right now in my life. It just doesn't speak to me at the moment. But at the end, and I have like my problems with what I think it does to society, where it's like it lets you focus in on one big problem. And in the world that I thought I lived in, I'm like, nobody would have been able to talk about anything other than not being able to go outside and COVID and blah, 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 blah. And in the midst of all of that, we've gone through sort of like a social reckoning, you know, a political upheaval. I mean, at least in this country, but I even think it's been worldwide. It's like, not that it's been perfect. I think that it's just, it's promising that despite everything going on in the world, we still had really important conversations light was shed on them. And partly because of social media, you know, partly because of our connectivity and all of that. Like, I know it's a doom and gloom year, but I think like it feels like there's like light that should come out of it. And that's like that endure, like the resilience to the point you're just saying, like the resilience that we'll probably have coming out of next year. Like, goddamn, how nice will it be like when you could just have a regular like a Friday and go have like a beer and dinner with some people after work or something like that. It's just
I don't think that shit's gonna happen.
Maybe
I feel like that's gonna be a 2022 thing, to be honest.
yeah,
Because also once the vaccine does come out, which probably won't happen until like next year, I feel like the process to actually get it and for everybody to get it is just gonna take some time, and you're gonna have the anti-vaxxers who don't want to get it, and so we're gonna have this like constant like thing. Hopefully it goes away completely, but I feel like it could just be like the flu. Like it's just the new flu.
yeah.
But to your point, like, dude, I'm like so looking forward to just live music.
Yeah, just like, you know, normal shit. Like I like forgot.
Yeah.
I feel like I forgot like what I would do if I didn't have rules. You know.
Oh shit! If you don't have rules,
like these kind of rules, like
if I was just free to go outside.
It is like there is like a new social pact that goes on right now. They respect one another and they keep each other safe. Like, and it's a rule.
Yeah, I'm like gonna be shook when I can like walk outside and walk into a place without a mask. Like I'm gonna be like, whoa, what are faces?
Yes,
simple.
This is strange. But I do think it's sad because like a lot of the staples of like where I would have gone are now gone, like closed, like Tiger. I don't know if you guys ever been there. Oh yeah, you've been, Dojo. But it's like
I've seen you there.
Yeah. But like these places, like one of my homies sent me like a list of all the places that have closed in San Diego, and it was like,
are they shut down for good?
Yeah, they're shut down for good, good.
Oh. Wait, do y'all know about West Coast Tavern? Is that shut down for good?
And if they're closed, they shut down.
I saw so many damn things like on a list of like local spots that were closed. They just can't. I mean, they can't deal with it this long.
Yeah, like I think or something. There's a bunch of places that are closed. Bang Bang is closed. You know, Jojo. I know that's where you were going all the time.
That's my spot too. That's a sad day for me.
Oh, your spot.
You know what's really interesting? One of our design team, like somebody's working with some designers in France at the moment, and they were just talking about like how France is sort of dealing with everything kind of going on with the economy, and they send every one of their citizens like 10,000 francs every month, right? Oh shit! Can you still hear me? Yeah. My headphones about to die. They send everybody 10,000 francs a month, and he pointed out to me though, he was like, but nobody fucking appreciates it or cares or knows, because he's actually like a New York resident who went back there. He's a dual citizen to live there. And I'm like, that's so wild that it's like in a world where there are people over here in our country who are distraught and their lives are ending, their businesses are ending. There's a world over there where there's an equally negative thing going on where people are just completely blind to the fact that like they are being taken care of, and there's other parts of the world. And it's like sometimes I feel like we deal with that in the States, right? Like you just are so blind to like how privileged you have it, even here. Despite, I mean, like that, and that's not to say like anything's perfect, but it's like, man, there's some parts of the world or some people, even in this country, who are going through like so much of a harder time. The fact that we can get on here at like Friday night and be in a house with the roof over our head and have a glass of wine or whatever it is and have a conversation about what we're grateful for. Like, I'm grateful for that alone.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild.
I would say, like, I think what I'm most grateful for is like, to your point, is like how kind of adaptive we are. But not just adaptive, but like, I think before, if this would have happened maybe like in the early 90s or early 2000s, I think we would have been a lot more like fearful and a lot more like, I don't want to say like obedient, I hate that term, but I think what I'm like happy for the most or most like appreciate is that everyone is starting to have their own opinions and like speak their own truth. I think before, leading up to like now, we all felt like we had to follow this straight and narrow path of like, this is what we have to do, this is what we're told to do, this is what we're supposed to believe in. And now like we're able to voice our own opinions and have opposite thoughts, not feel bad about it. I think I've spoke up the most about, you know, my feelings, you know, where I come from or what I believe in. And like, it might not be the same as someone else, but then like someone who maybe thought the same thing, you know, I made them feel more comfortable to speak up too.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is what I'm most proud about, especially being a person of color, that 2020 gave me my voice. Even though it's mostly remote and like through a platform, I feel more confident about like myself and my truth and like what I believe in. And I think we're all we're all more aware, we're all more like knowledgeable. I think we're all more like, we're all searching for like more truths instead of just accepting like a headline, you know, where before if I see something on Facebook, I'm like, oh, this is whatever. And I'm like, no, I don't believe that. Like we're all kind of like doing more due diligence to kind of be better people. And I appreciate that the most.
Yeah, it's like we're all stepping into our own identities as opposed to like having to feel like you're a part of some homogenous culture. It's like we had the time to one, be introspective, and we've had all of these pressure cooker moments to like really force us to think about like, what do we believe? What do we stand for? And what will we stand for? What will we die for? Yeah, I agree with that. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it was like our whole world was moving way too fast, and 2020 was like, slow down, bitch, and pay attention.
That's it.
And like you better like pump your brakes, pay attention, and you know, take some calculated steps next year.
Yeah. When they closed the club, I was like, dang, I gotta look inside.
No, that's so true though. I was thinking about that earlier. So like every week we have a meeting with like all the basic writers, like a little nerdy chat. And then I was thinking about this exact concept. Like we've been in for so long that we obviously are forced to be more introspective. But like before, I mean, I would be going out to like clubs and like galleries, concerts to like, that's how I got my like external stimuli and like inspiration.
At the club.
That's what I was like. What?
Yeah, I know this. Oh yeah. Okay. Not like crazy fucking clubs, but like bars and shit. Bars, not clubs, I guess. I wasn't like at Flux or anything. I mean, no comment.
Flux. I hope you didn't go to Flux.
It was Bang Bang and fucking Space Bar. But anyway, so like, you know, I'm forced to be more internally facing. Like that's just, we're all kind of cooped up, and now we're just forced to think about shit and like live in our heads. And that's why I think everyone's had these like epiphanies. Like I was telling the team earlier, I don't think I've ever had a time where I've had more epiphanies just like either by myself or like talking with people like this. I'm like every day my mind is fucking blown by something, you know? And I feel like that would never happen otherwise because I'm so distracted by like music and like everything going on outside that I just don't have time to like process all these things, I guess.
Question. I mean, we talked about this in our like DE&I collective, and it's going to be an ongoing conversation. But like, what were some challenges this year that you actually are grateful for that you grew from?
Oh, specific.
Yeah.
Yeah, specifics. Is that what you just said?
So,
I got one earphone and it's real hard to hear. What?
That I'm grateful for.
yeah, a challenge that you're grateful for, that you grew from.
I mean, I think honestly dealing with the murder of George Floyd, even though it's happened multiple times to many other Black men and Black people, I think just that particular time, that particular focus, because I can say COVID as a whole, right? But that particular time, that particular focus on that particular moment, and the protest that happened that week while I still had to work and present and had this whole like internal tension of like, what am I pulling from? I'm pulling from the culture that I grew up with and that I love and that I'm always constantly consuming, which is a lot of Black culture, appropriating that and giving it to these brands that aren't necessarily ran by Black people. And there was just this like deep tension that I had. And then when I went to try and go protest, I also couldn't do that because I was like, yo, I'm a Black man. And I got scared when I saw the cops like coming out with all of their like time. And I'm like, yo, these people are just chilling. And I like freaked out. I literally backed out 10th Avenue. When you get off the highway, I backed out that, which is a one-way street getting off of a highway. Like, that's just how I was like terrified. They were like they were on that intersection right by the gas station, right? And so I backed out. I'm like, this is it for me. And then I was like shaking, and I was like, I know I'm somebody who can't protest right now in this state because I feel like one, I would get paralyzed in like my own like anger, or that anger would just like come out, or I would like break something, or I would like be a person who would like whatever. And so for me, that issued in a lot of internal like conversation, external conversation with people around me, and then that then issued in like all of the different like art pieces that I started to do, which helped raise money. So I feel like for me, it helped me find my place within the larger sort of cultural landscape as somebody who can use my pain and the struggle to have impact on society. So I'm like, I am really grateful for it, but also it's like the duality of the Black experience, where it's like, we're just always in pain, but we're always creative.
Mm-hmm. All that. Your shirts are dope too. Proud of you.
I know. Snaps for early.
Gonna get some glow in the dark and glitter ink real soon.
Oh god.
Like Kanye in
Coffee
2008.
Turn up the flex.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, it's like then just all of the reading that's like come after that, and everything, just like digging deeper into these Black thinkers who weren't as radical as you would think they were. They were just like promoting Black power, but Black power was just, how do you put power into our community so that we have that political power, right? So that we don't have to ask other people for a way in. We can make it ourselves because we have the ability to do that. Us relying on other people makes it seem like we can't do these things. And yes, we need allies, but we don't need to rely on other people to let us in. Like he has one thing where he's talking about like, a lot of these bills and laws when it comes to civil rights are for white people. We knew we were free. Somebody had to tell them. We knew we could go eat anywhere. Somebody had to tell them, right? Like everybody is born free, and then somebody who's in power enslaved you. And so we have to tell them to like let us do things. So yeah, I think for me, it's just been getting deeper into these readings and these thoughts, and trying to let them guide how I interact with like people and work and brands and storytelling and all that stuff.
Yeah. I think for me, like the challenges I've been thankful for, well, like one, like the collective challenges, and I'm gonna try to find a way to like word this very diplomatically, but I think I'm thankful for the fact that like racism is almost more obvious now, because I feel like when it was more low key, it was way more fucking dangerous, you know, it was way more insidious. Like, and now it's just like we can call it out and be like, yo, our country is trash right now. You know, we got to do something about it. And like people are inspired to do something. So to me, almost to Erwin's point, like um, it's unfortunate that it takes something horrible to happen for us to kind of look within and be like, yeah, we got to do something about it. But I think that's what I'm thankful for collectively. And I think more personally, it's weird because in a way, not being in an office and not being like, you know, with other people physically, it's almost made me like more collaborative. So like more willing to like speak up, more willing to like be involved with like a million things at basic, more willing to like get closer with my family. Like I don't know, like these I've just been so inspired to like connect with people as a result of COVID that like I've kind of broken out of my shell a bit. So I think that's been nice on a more like, selfish level.
Also, you've been killing it. Just
Oh yeah.
that work in general, bro. And
appreciate you.
this dude is helping to organize a lot of like the stuff with even the DEI group with being good.
And I mean, yeah, and again, like it's unfortunate that it's taken us this long to get to that point, but I'm so proud of like what everything, you know, we're doing. It's been dope.
I mean, like it's unfortunate, but there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's nothing. Look, at the end of the day, it's like if you found your way to like truth or wisdom or meaning in yourself and a desire for action for you, that's fine. Whatever your path to get there, that's good. Like
Totally.
You know, don't dwell on the negative part. But it's like even with what you're getting at, like I'm generally, I think like learning from the pain in general in every aspect of my life is the thing that I'm most grateful for. Like I was thinking about it earlier today, and I'll make it like oddly personal, but like this is the longest of my life I've not seen my dad. I haven't hugged my mom, who lives an hour away, in a long time, and it's made me appreciate the things I took for granted so many times.
Yeah.
It's like that's such a cliche thing to say, but like when we talk about we're grateful for things, like I don't think we've ever meant it more. Like you can't actually be grateful for things until it's pain. It's like it's just like when somebody in your life who you've had or a close relative and they pass away and you feel like you should have spent more time with them, because like none of us can really appreciate anything until it's taken away from us. And then we really can remember what it meant to us. And I feel like this year has been a year of like taking away of things. And I don't just mean like taking away of your freedom, but like you take it to the social level and like, many of us probably walked around thinking that, racial equality was at a different place than it was, right? Maybe many of us walked around thinking that, just your right and ability to like get a job and like be yourself and own that in your place of work was in a better place than it was. And I like the fact that the pain that we've all seen, which is like that fucking, hey, the world said, hey, stop for a second, slow down, because everybody's moving too quick. Like pay attention and feel that pain so you can be grateful for what you have and do things exactly like you're just calling out, Erwin and Eric, like do things a little different to make a difference so that you can walk around with that gratefulness, or you can act with that gratefulness in your heart. And that like, and then at the end of the day, like when it's all said and done, you will truly be like, you'll be grateful for that. Like on your deathbed to be like, damn, I did something that had meaning to me and not just walk through every day. Cause I feel like this year has made me feel like, damn, I probably coasted through so much of life assuming a lot of things that were wrong. But and you can say assuming, it's not necessarily like knowing, assuming, like even if you're like ignorance is still an assumption in a way. And so, you know, you need to get checked every once in a while. So it's like, it's a good thing for all of us. It's just like, I hope most people embrace that pain and appreciate that pain in a meaningful way.
Oh, question. If you were to have to like say it right now, like what would you, with the context of everything that's happened this past year and all of the introspection that all of us have had, what would you want your legacy to be?
Damn. 9 minutes, 8 minutes. We have to answer that in 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Shit.
Legacy.
I mean, obviously it doesn't. What's funny is like every time somebody asks these some of the questions, I feel like we approach them as if it's like the last time we can actually answer these.
Yeah.
And so while I would say like definitely think about it, but like just whatever comes to your mind. It doesn't, I feel like there's no perfect answer and we can always go.
I mean, I always wanted to be the one to create spaces for Black people to be creative. Being like last year, you guys all know, like my brother is in Chicago, got shot, almost lost his life, and it's because he didn't know anything else but like the streets. And so for me, it's like if you're in these like, even if you're in San Diego or whatever, like I just want like Black people specifically to feel like they have the space to grow, collaborate, be whoever they want to be. And I don't know how I'm doing that. I'm doing it in a small platform now, but I just want to continue to grow that because I wish I had that growing up. You know, like my aspirations were always to be like a doctor or a lawyer, even though I knew I didn't want to be any of those things. I just want to give other Black folks, or let them know that there's other options out there for them, especially in the creative space.
I love that. It was amazing. I mean, I feel like you're doing that though, Jojo. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're very much like on that journey. So
I'm trying.
No, you're doing it. You're not trying. You're fucking killing that shit.
Oh, thank you.
I see 2020 was a catalyst, you know, for a lot of people, which is a good thing. Which is a good thing. What's your legacy, Eric?
My legacy, I mean, I think I've always thought this way, but especially now, you know, just in the midst of everything, my legacy is to mold or like change just one person's attitude. That's why I'm in advertising, is like we kind of change perceptions. And if I could do that for one person, then I've done my job. So that's why I'm doing like all these things like DE&I, Brandbeats, like all these initiatives at Basic, because that's truly what I want to do, both in my work and in my life. So I would say in a nutshell, I think that's my legacy. Just inspiring people to do something, take action.
You do that every day, Eric, by the way.
Oh, appreciate
every
that,
time
Jojo.
I talk to you, you're super uplifting and you're like, you're a mood.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're a mood.
Likewise, Jojo, every fucking day.
Thank you. What you got, yellow shirt?
It's, well, I think for me, it's like really fundamental, right? Like, I think like, I used to think about my legacy like before, not in the context of a legacy, but like what effect I wanted to have in life. And I used to always just think, I just want to make everybody, if I'm a part of your life, I want you to remember that time with me as like a positive. Because I used to think like there's the life that you have. Like, I just want you to think of like whatever time you have with me, like you had a good time. And like, that was a moment that like, I just wanted to make it better, you know? And and that's still important to me, like to my core. And I find that even in my therapy, like I'm trying to get to the bottom of that. But get to the bottom of that. But I do think like I resonate a lot with like a fundamental thing with Eric is I truly do want to like deliver people perspective, because I feel like insight in your own life and insight and reflection to people is like one of the best gifts you can give them. And like the way that we move things forward is like, I want to share my ideas. I want to share with the world like what I think. and I want to do so in such a way that like that I deliver it with an openness to like receive ideas at the same time, so that like I can help us all take a step forward, like whatever it may be. Like maybe whether that's me taking a step forward or you taking a step forward, that's fine. Like I want an openness, like in a give and take. And I feel like that's like sort of our purpose, is to connect with one another, share our ideas, be empathetic, be open, embrace other ideas, and make things better for the collective, like for all of us. Like how can we be empathetic to one another to help people step forward? And so like, you know, I have my own ways of doing that. I don't share much. Like I write, I have like a novel I'm working on, all this shit, but
Oh damn.
like, but like, yeah, I know, yeah. But
So flex.
the reality is like, you know, you have to get there on your own and figure out when, like one day I'm gonna try and get something done with that. But you gotta share that with the world. So I mean, that's really it. I try and like, in the meantime, I try and make my impressions on a small scale.
You definitely do.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it. You are a very thin man. You do a lot, and you know, I'm grateful for you above all.
I mean, shit, fucking all three of you like have made huge impacts, not just on the company, but like on my life, like to be completely honest. So very thankful for this team over here. Y'all are amazing.
Wow.
Dang, this is a cuddle puddle meeting.
I love it. I'm not even gonna get this for Thanksgiving, so I'll take it.
Do we have to put like an R-rated on this?
I was gonna say cuddle puddle is up there with the word moist. Like it's like, ooh, that's a moist cuddle puddle right there.
Actually, real quick before we end. Yeah, so like the word moist, Durex condoms have done like a campaign around the word moist, Erwin. So
direct condoms?
Yeah, they've done like a moist campaign. That's like their new tagline.
Direct condoms.
Oh, Durex?
Durex.
Durex.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
I thought you said like there's some condom brand called Direct.
Direct.
It's just,
oh yeah. Oh,
Direct?
that's actually that's a great name.
Who's the point?
Durex.
That's a fantastic name. No, but Durex. Durex, yes. They made a campaign around the word moist. So I think definitely pat on the back for you, Erwin, for shepherding that.
Disgusting.
On that
real
note,
quick, what's your legacy? Wait.
Oh yeah.
Erwin, what's your legacy? You're a liar.
Just to be black. And also Filipino stuff.
Ah! All right.
No,
wrap it up.
I feel like my legacy is just to empower the stories of my people, which is both Black, obviously, and now digging into like my Filipino side and just in general people of color. And to me, the people who have been in pain and not necessarily served by the larger system. I just want to empower those stories because I truly do believe in the power of community and communal power, and reinvesting into community and taking what you have and giving back and supporting and helping to build infrastructure and self-sustaining power within those like communities. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Or whatever I don't know what that is, but
I'm proud of us. We're all doing it. You guys do it every day. So like, good for you for working on your fucking legacy. You guys are great.
Oh, yeah.
I'm proud of this team.
I want to be Beyonce.
You're doing it. You're fucking doing it.
I want to be.
At the end of the day, I feel like my shallow legacy is like I want to be Beyonce. I want to be Rihanna. I want to be
Rihanna for sure.
Daniel Arsham. I want to be these individuals who I've always looked up to as I feel like my cultural mentors. Like I feel like I've never really had a design mentor, but I've always looked at these individuals as like cultural mentors because of the things that they do across multiple different disciplines and how much impact they have for the culture, and not like small c culture, but for the actual culture of like shifting and changing the cultural fabric and making space for others who are viewed as other.
R.I.P. Uncle Phil. Let's wrap this up.
Hold on,
Very
did
wholesome.
did that show? Did the
Did you
That
not watch the
happened.
reunion?
I haven't seen it.
no?
I haven't seen it
Why
yet
would I?
either.
No, I'm not gonna watch.
Oh my
I'm not gonna watch
god.
it.
I don't have cable.
Yeah,
How
I'm
do I
not gonna watch
It's
that.
on HBO Max.
Well, I'm
in most
sorry,
of
not
it.
everybody.
Oh, wow.
Not everybody has
Everybody-
HBO Max.
Damn.
Wow.
Friends.
You know what's so
Oh,
funny?
God.
Can I
Fresh
have
Prince
your
of Bel-Air
login?
should be a
Please?
super
Like,
accessible
I just
show.
want to come over.
It should be a super
Wow.
accessible show because it's about Black people, but then they put it on HBO
Listen.
Max.
I
Yeah,
have friends
And
with
Peacock, but no one has
logins.
Peacock.
What does it cost?
What?
$15 a month? No, I'm gonna just reread this book again. Again.
What the hell is Peacock?
It's like NBC's streaming service that no one uses.
Why
So
the fuck would they call it Peacock?
Oh.
They
it's like
already,
that's their logo. Their logo is a
NBC is
peacock.
yeah, but they already own NBC. Just have NBC stream, like or just
Yeah, they could just call it NBC Plus. I don't know.
Also,
why they
HBO
do
Max sounds like the naughty version of HBO. Why do they call it?
No,
That's right.
everything is on there.
It's
Oh my God,
actually called
Boondocks is
HBO
on there.
Directs.
that. I'm never gonna live this down, am I? Fuck. I just dug myself in a hole.
Oh, moisture.
All right,
Also-
let's wrap this up.
For you guys, Eric is going to be the face of a campaign talking about
God.
Philippine culture, not Durex.
I didn't want to
I
plug it.
thought that's
but
where we were going. Are you really?
I was moving away from it.
yeah. I've been helping Erwin out with a little side project, so it's been fun.
Come on, Eric. Yes.
Ooh.
More to come. Stay tuned.
You about to
I don't
be a
want to
model?
spill the
Can't
beans
wait
yet.
to see
About to
but-
be a model out here?
Come on.
Something like
He had
that.
he had some little shorts on.
God. Anyway, on that note, it's getting close to time. We're over time actually, so we'll see you in 2 weeks. We're on Thursdays now at
All right,
5:30. So.
Yes.
Back in on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Or is it 5 p.m.?
5:30.
5:30.
Tune in
Till
every
next
Thursday
time.
at 5 p.m.
Tune in.
Next
Happy
Thursday.
Thanksgiving, y'all.
Bye.
Thursday after.
Oh, the Thursday after next Thursday.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
Happy holidays.
All right. Happy holidays. y'all.
Learn about it. Learn about it.
Yes.
Learn about the
Yeah.
real story.